Hello, my name is Artur Valerievich and I teach anatomy. And today we're gonna speak about parasympathetic autonomic nervous systems. And we will start with the general principles. Functional unit. In autonomic or like vegetative neural system, it's also we have reflex arcs, but there will be differences from somatic. These differences will be in afferent chain. So if you remember like somatic reflex, they're like the simple somatic reflex have only two neurons. Sensory neuron that is located in your ganglion spinale, and motor neuron that is located in anterior horns of your gray matter of spinal cord. One fiber that have receptors and get this impulse and then transmit it to motor neuron. Motor neuron have one this fiber that go to your muscle and this will be answer for some irritation. This is simple reflex. If we talk about autonomic nervous system, it consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, but it doesn't matter what kind of it, the reflex arc will be similar. As I told you, it have two neuron afferent chain. So afferent will be the same. You have sensory neuron, receptors, and it brings this impulse to your gray matter, spinal cord. What happens next? Next, it will transmit it to your autonomic neurons. It again doesn't matter sympathetic or parasympathetic, the differences in location and effect. So they transmitted impulse to your autonomic neuron. Then these fibers go out of your spinal cord, and then, as you can see, it go to ganglion, to ganglia. This is the main differences of your vegetative systems, that there is ganglion that consists of also neurons, and it will be like second neuron. There will be transmission of this impulse, and we call this first neuron and the branches of this first neuron, like we call them preganglionic neuron, preganglionic fiber. Then in this ganglion will be transmission of this impulse, and branches of second neuron go further to your tissues, to your targets, and then will cause this its effect. And the second neuron will have name postganglionic neuron and postganglionic fibers. So this is the main differences, as you can see. A simple reflex arc of autonomic nervous system consists of three neurons, one sensory and two afferent. What does your autonomic system controls? Autonomic system controls two kind of tissues. It controls smooth muscles and glands. It controls all smooth muscles in your body, in vessels, in skin, in internal organs, and all glands. There are two different parts of autonomic system. Sympathetic part and parasympathetic part, they have differences in effect. They have like opposite effect on your tissues, and also they have differences in the location of the second neuron, postganglionic, and first neuron. They have centers in different places, and they have the second neuron in different ganglions. So let's start with parasympathetic system. Largest part of parasympathetic system you already studied. All cranial part of parasympathetic system, it's related to cranial nerves. Like somatic, like animal part of nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic also have like centers and periphery. So centers of these systems are in your brain and spinal cord. Periphery includes nerves, ganglions, plexuses, and another connective branches. And parasympathetic system have like two parts. Central part of parasympathetic system have two division, like cranial division and sacral division. Cranial division consists four nucleus. They are nucleus accessorius nervi oculomotori, nucleus salivatorius superior, nucleus salivatorius inferior, and nucleus dorsalis nervi vagi. Here is four nuclei, and fifth that is located in the sacral part of your spinal cord calls nucleus parasympathicus sacralis. So first one, it's nucleus accessorius nervi oculomotori. It's related, you remember, to third cranial nerve, to oculomotorius. Next, nucleus salivatorius superior. It's related to nervus facialis, to seventh cranial nerve. Nucleus salivatorius inferior. It's related to nervus glossopharyngeus, to ninth cranial nerve, and nucleus dorsalis nervi vagi, related to nervus vagus. And they are located almost in your brainstem. Accessorius oculomotori in midbrain, salivatorius superior and inferior in pons, and nucleus dorsalis nervi vagi in medulla oblongata. These nucleus parasympathicus sacralis located in nucleus intermedia medialis in gray matter of your spinal cord in segments from sacral second till sacral fourth. And let's start with this cranial nerve. So nucleus accessorius nervi oculomotori, actually, you remember, it consists of like two portions, like paired and unpaired. Paired calls have eponymical name nucleus Westphal-Edinger. Unpaired calls nucleus Perle. And these fibers, preganglionic fibers, related to nervus oculomotorius and go with them into your orbital cavity and reach ganglion ciliare. Remember, in your orbital cavity you have ganglion ciliare. It's laying on optic nerve. That is postganglionic, consists postganglionic neurons. There will be transmission, and postganglionic fibers within nervi ciliaris brevis go into your eye and supply your musculus sphincter pupilla, that's responsible for pupillary reflex, and supply your musculus ciliaris, that's responsible for your accommodation. Next, nucleus salivatorius superior. It's related to facial nerve, and these preganglionic fibers like travel in two branches of your facial nerve. First one, it's nervus petrosus major, and it go to another ganglion that located in fossa pterygopalatina to ganglion pterygopalatinum. It also consists of parasympathetic postganglionic neurons. There will be transmission, and postganglionic fibers travel. You remember, some fibers travel in maxillary nerve of trigeminal, then zygomatic, then connective branch to lacrimal, and supply your glandula lacrimalis. Lacrimal gland, another palatini major, minor, nasalis posterioris. They are nasal and oral cavity and supply mucous glands of your nasal and oral cavities. Second branch of facial nerve that consists of preganglionic neurons, it's chorda tympani. Chorda tympani that, you remember, join nervus lingualis, go to oral cavity, and these fibers reach another ganglion submandibular, or sublingual if that will be exist. It's not constant. There will transmission, and postganglionic fibers supply submandibular and sublingual glands. Nucleus salivatorius inferior, related to nervus glossopharyngeus, and travel within glossopharyngeal, then within nervus tympanicus. It enters tympanic cavity. Remember, there will be plexus tympanicus, and gives a new nerve, nervus petrosus minor, lesser petrosus nerve that go down into fossa infratemporalis and reach ganglion oticum. Otic ganglion that's located in the infratemporal fossa. It's laying on the medial aspect of your nervus mandibularis. There will be transmission, and postganglionic fibers enters mandibular nerve, then within auriculotemporal nerve, and then rami glandularis reach your parotid gland, supply your glandula parotida. And the last one, the biggest one, it's nucleus dorsalis nervi vagi. Dorsal nucleus of vagus is the biggest parasympathetic nucleus of your cranial portion. It goes within nervus vagus and goes almost in all branches. These preganglionic fibers travel almost in all branches of your vagus nerve. You remember, vagus nerve have like 4 divisions or 4 group of branches: cranial, cervical, thoracic, and abdominal. Cranial branches have no these parasympathetic fibers, but all cervical, all thoracic, and all abdominal branches of vagus nerve include these preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. And remember, they supply all organs of your neck, all organs, internal organs of your thoracic cavity. Then these fibers enters your abdominal cavity, where vagus enters plexus celiacus. Pay attention. This plexus and this ganglion of plexus celiacus is sympathetic and consists sympathetic neurons. There will be no transmission. These fibers of vagus just walk through, just transit, goes, and travel through this plexus celiacus and plexus hypogastricus superior, and with the fibers of these plexuses reach almost all internal organs of your abdominal cavity until colon transversum. So they supply your gastroesophagus, duodenum, liver, pancreas, kidneys. You can see glandula suprarenalis, all your small intestine, and cecum, colon ascendens, and colon transversum, until this flexura coli sinistra, until left this flexure of your colon. And pay attention, it's all preganglionic fibers. You can ask me, so where is this transmission? Where is postganglionic fibers? These postganglionic neurons for vagus branches, they are located or inside the walls of your organs. There will be no such ganglion like ciliary ganglion like pterygopalatine or oticum. There will be no such big ganglia. There will be small plexuses or small groups of cells that are located inside the wall of your intestines or near internal organs. Near the heart, for example, there will be a lot of plexuses, or superficial and deep plexuses of heart, inside the walls or near the bronchi and lungs, near hepar, pancreas, kidneys, or inside the wall of your intestines. There will be transmission, and postganglionic fibers, they will be short and they supply your mucosa and smooth muscles of all these organs. And the last one, it's sacral nucleus. This nucleus parasympathicus sacralis in nucleus intermedialis in gray matter consists of these preganglionic cells. These fibers exit your spinal cord within anterior root, within radix anterior. Then they enters like anterior branches of sacral nerves and sacral plexus, but then they exit it and travel to your internal organs, and these nerves will have name nervi splanchnici pelvini, pelvic splanchnic nerves that also will enter sympathetic plexus. There will be no transmission, only transit, walk through this inferior hypogastric plexus, and then reach all your internal organs of pelvic cavity, urinary organs and genital organs, external, internal, and so they supply all the rest of your intestines, colon descendants, colon sigmoidum, and rectum. This is also, there will be transmission inside the walls or near these organs. This is how it looks like. You can see it here. Here's your sacral plexus, and here, this is that nervi splantnici pelvini, these parasympathetic preganglionic fibers that enters here. It is plexus hypogastricus inferior, that they enters this plexus and reach your urinary organs and genital organs, and also rectum and sigmoid, colon, and descendants. Effect. What is effect of this parasympathetic system on your organs? Effect is, if we talk about glands, parasympathetic system increase production of glands, of mucosa or salivatory or tears. If you talk about lacrimal gland, it will increase production of tear. If you talk about salivatory glands, it increase salivation. If you talk about your pupil, it will narrows pupilla. If you talk about mucosa of your internal organs, parasympathetic system increase production of mucosa. Heart, parasympathetic system decrease heart beat rate, decrease blood pressure. And if you talk about smooth muscles, parasympathetic system increase contraction. So parasympathetic system stimulate peristaltics of your intestines. That's all about parasympathetic systems. About this topic. Thank you for your attention. Subscribe to my channel, ask me some questions, and see you later. Peace.